जनवरी 1940 में ब्रिटिश इंडियन आर्मी की बलोच रेजिमेंट की 5वीं पलटन ज्वाइन की। हिंदुस्तानी सिपाहियों ने जापानीज का बहुत बहादुरी से मुकाबला किया और उन्हें जापानीज के हवाले कर दिया गया। हिंदुस्तान और अंग्रेजों के बीच एक धागा था, वो टूट गया। गद्दारी की कोई माफी नहीं होगी।
You were charged with Indian Army Act Section 41, waging war against the king.
जब अंग्रेजी अफसरों ने साडी हिफाजत नहीं की, तो वो हमारी वफादारी के हकदार किस तरह हो सकते हैं? अगर जिंदा बचा उसके बाद शादी करोगी मुझसे?
Hello and a warm welcome to another edition of To The Point. On the show this week, Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. He's also a personality who's a very senior leader from Bihar. Welcome, sir, on To The Point. Let me begin by asking you about the recent developments. What happened in Bihar? Nitish Kumar's entry into the NDA fold. Will you see it as a victory of the NDA or will you see it as a victory of Nitish Kumar?
Well, both. And having said that, I think it was a very bold decision on the part of Nitish Kumar. The general image of Nitish Kumar, what we perceive in Delhi and across the country, that he's a straightforward man, he's a clean man, he believes in good administration. Somehow in last 2 years, all this was going against him. And we all felt that the pressure of Lalu Prasad Yadav being with him, there were contradictions in his behavior, in his decision making, in his performance. And since there was a complete contradiction between the philosophy what Lalu Prasad Yadav carried to support him being in government, with his children, with his sort of a henchman as a part of the government, I'm sure Nitish Kumar was feeling very suffocated. He may not have expressed it, but at some point it had to boil out. And why I call it a bold decision is to go and resign, not knowing that whether that future is stable or not stable, that government is stable or not stable. But having done this, he has done a good job for Bihar. And Bihar was heading for a complete anarchy. Yeah. It was not only heading for anarchy, there was a complete anarchism prevailing in Bihar. So I think he did the right thing.
But Mr. Rudy, why are analysts, many of them, they feel that it was a very carefully calibrated script, because if you look at the friendly overtures which he was making to BJP in the last 4-5 months which we saw, would it be fair to say that BJP and Nitish Kumar both followed a well calibrated script?
Well, what is wrong in that if it was happening and if you feel so? But no one till a week ago said that this is going to happen, or maybe 10 days back. So in politics, pitching for right alliances, and you see the objective is he remaining in power or someone else remaining in power. The Prime Minister, when he spoke his first speech from the Red Forts, he said, I am not Pradhan Mantri, but I am Pradhan Sevak. Well, this is the philosophy. Are you there for your own self, or are you there for the people of Bihar? So I think he thought that the people of Bihar are more important. And the best way to partner and grow in the state is partnering the NDA government at the center. And I believe after a good 30 years, this is the first time that a situation has emerged where the central government and the state government are on the same track. There were always contradictions, and the state suffered enormously. And I think if people have to comment, this is a growing restlessness of how BJP NDA is growing. It's natural for people to criticize in different ways. But the question which should be posed primarily to all those who are talking about this situation is, was it in the interest of Bihar? Yes or no? Those who pose such questions, this question should be posed to them.
But if you look at the political developments in the last 2 years, Nitish Kumar was one person who foisted an entire anti-BJP kind of a coalition coming along with the opposition parties. And he had been harping over the fact that we should see a
yes,
Sangh-Mukt Bharat.
But maybe he did not see these virtues of the BJP in them. Maybe he could not assess or understand the virtues of the Prime Minister then. And if it has happened in the process of time, it's a good development. And I think it's good for the state.
But when Nitish Kumar says that when he had been harping over an idea of a Sangh-Mukt Bharat, how palatable will it be now for the BJP?
Now, there is always a reform which takes place. And you see, I would again say whatever may be the personal philosophy of Nitish Kumar, but that was no way in consonance to the philosophy of Lalu Yadav. Is it not a truth? And if he had to take an option, he was under stress of corruption and charges of corruption. What was his baseline? He says, I cannot accept what corruption, because I have been talking about zero corruption government. And so if that has to be achieved, could it have been achieved with the partnership with Lalu Prasad Yadav or with partnership of BJP? And I think he took the correct decision, because we have spent 3 years in the central government. I don't think there is any charge against any minister or any part of the government, what we saw in the Congress regime in the past 30 years. So there is a difference, and I think he realized that. He has been a partner to us. He has been a very strong partner with us, and no one can doubt his performance. No one can doubt the intention of Nitish Kumar as a performer, or as a chief minister, or as a leader. He is quiet, he is sober, he is decent, and a complete mismatch for Lalu Prasad Yadav.
But would you not concede to the fact that Nitish Kumar, I think over the time himself has realized the fact that his core voter base will not give him the political dividends, and many people say that the kind of developments which have taken place, we have seen that he's been shifting his stance. You know, sometimes he's with the opposition, sometimes
he has to fine tune what he has to do politically, and I think that much space has to be given to a leader, so that he has done. But this is a brave step. That is everyone has to realize. No, not many people could have taken such a step, and this brave step is against corruption and for the development of Bihar.
It's certainly a bravado, as you say, but the frequency with which he's been jumping the ship, are you not scared that, like when Lalu Prasad, I'll just quote him what he said.
Well, I will not anticipate things. He has given a full call to the subject which he had to opt for. And I will not speculate, as long as whatever he does today out in the state of Bihar in Lalu Yadav's regime earlier and in between, out of 11 crore people, or maybe 11 and a half, almost 3.5 crore people have left the state. What is the situation in the state? Does anyone analyze it? So I think in democracy, people have right to make realignments.
When Lalu Yadav says that he trusted Nitish blindly but got betrayal in return. Now, is BJP also not scared that maybe the party faces the same kind of a music?
We are not anticipating things, and I believe he's a performer. You see, this country is crazy. We talk about Lalu Prasad Yadav. Do you know who is Lalu Prasad Yadav? Can Lalu Prasad Yadav contest elections in this country under this constitution? Are you aware what he has done? Is he not accused in a 1,000 crore fodder scam? Has he not been again accused in about 10,000 crores involving his family members and shell companies and so forth and so on as a union minister? And he heads a party and he calls himself a leader, and we discuss him. This country has gone down so much that we keep on discussing and keeping on the front foot people who are completely tarnished, people who have lost all political legitimacy except his caste and the combination with his caste, and then we spend time talking about him. Are you aware that he could not contest elections, and that he's debarred from contesting elections, and still he's a leader of the party? Where do we stand in a debate in this country about politicians? And this happens because he's not a philosopher, he's a family. He's an individual who works on a caste basis.
No, it's certainly a fact that he cannot contest an election, but his party was an important part of the Mahagabandhan.
So that is why you are legitimize such composition where Lalu Prasad Yadav, who is convicted, is a leader who gets guided from criminals from the jail who are MLAs and MPs, and then you want us to discuss on a national forum about an individual whom we have been opposing, as if he's an icon of politics in Bihar, is a very shameful discussion.
No,
Which
we are not saying that he's
no,
an
no, I
icon.
would not like to talk about a person who is completely charged. He cannot. I don't consider him worthy enough. In democracy, at least a debate should be about a person who should be clean enough to be discussed. Are you aware that I contest him for last 30 years? Do you all remember that Rajiv Pratap Rudy as a leader, right from his days as an MLA to this years has been, no one knows in this country. They think I am an English speaking man and what all, but 30 years of a political life I have spent in that hotbed.
We have seen you.
No, most of the people do not know that person whom I defeat. Are you all aware? Did you all ever speak that I defeat Rabdi Devi and come here in parliament? None. Because what makes news for you is people who spoil politics, who make a mock of politics, who indulge in caste, who indulge in corruption, who indulge in theft. And if they are leaders, they are discussed. Very unfortunate.
But let me talk about the new way of
and you
politics.
can't compare Lalu Yadav to Nitish Kumar.
No, absolutely not. We are not doing that at all. But what I would like to ask you, that with Nitish Kumar now and joining hands with the NDA, does it also indicate a new style of politics? Or rather, I would put it the other way. Is it the end of the Mandal politics which we saw, which was...
No, everyone has his own philosophy as far as the larger plank is concerned. There's no giving up of people have individual beliefs and convictions. And I think all that is for good governance, for the people, for the poor. What is the narrative of the BJP government today? What is the narrative of the Prime Minister or Mr. Amit Shah today? That this government is for the poor, Garib, Kisan, Mazdoor, Bezrojgar, Naujawan, Divyang, Mahila. Our narrative is that. And all those who want to partner in this narrative are welcome to be a part of us.
Nitish Kumar's joining NDA, does it also psychologically change the climate? Of course, the climate was in favor of BJP. There's no two ways about it. But does it further?
I think Nitish Kumar coming down to the BJP has bolstered his image. He has gained in his public position. His posture has gone up. And that is an advantage.
But many people think the other way.
No, because those people who can't chew or accept BJP growing so fast in this country will have a different logic. We don't care for them. We don't care for people who actually are not seeing the good things which is happening in this country. We are not getting bothered. You go down to the grassroots level in Bihar. We may not be having a government in Bihar of the BJP. It was with Nitish and Lalu. But the appreciation which people are giving with this decision, what Nitish Kumar has done and what BJP has done in Bihar, can be felt at the grassroots levels. That anarchy which prevailed in the state of Bihar. And having said that, it's the BJP, which is the Prime Minister, it is Mr. Narendra Modi who is being talked all around. And who would not like to partner him?
But why does the opposition, I would like to understand from you, you've seen Bihar very closely. Why does, whenever a corruption case comes up, CBI investigation goes into force and opposition immediately starts talking about the fact that government is on a witch hunting spree. Why does the opposition talk like that?
That is a usual stand. You see, Bihar is a particular state where corruption, governance, all this actually is a non-issue. And we as politicians have thrived on such situations where caste is foremost and most paramount, caste and caste combination. And it's been very unfortunate for Bihar now. So I think in days to come, governance, good administration, development would be the main plank for all those who rule the state of Bihar, which is the basic thesis on which BJP works today.
Talking to you about your ministry, we have seen that skill development, of course, is a very challenging task, which will just not happen in a few months or maybe just a few years. What are the biggest challenges you are facing as a minister? What is the biggest challenge for you at the moment?
You see, skills has not started today. It's been there for years. But the biggest challenge for me was to define skills. And what does the skill ministry and what about the skill mission which we are talking and what is the Prime Minister's vision? First, I must appreciate the decision taken by the Prime Minister to have created a separate vertical or a ministry for skill development and entrepreneurship. And today it's become a focus. What has happened in history that education took a call on all things. At some point of time, the education ministry became a HRD ministry, and that was the time it was envisaged that education, vocational training also becomes a part of education. And then they coined that whole ministry as HRD. But actually did not take off. It never actually happened. So at the entry level, school dropouts, industrial training, all that had to be brought under one fold. And the Prime Minister, the skill ecosystem for short-term training under Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, and the gradation was done through National Skills Qualification Framework, through NOSES and QPs. The second was industrial training, which was migrated from the Ministry of Labour to the Ministry of Skill Development, which is the ITIs, the plumbers, the fitters, the draftsmen, the auto mechanic, so forth, and about 120. So that was the base for technical training. Entrepreneurship as modules in school education was brought to this ministry. And furthermore, beyond it, the Prime Minister has now decided to migrate polytechnics across the country from the Ministry of HRD to the Ministry of Skill Development. Now, a focus has been established to the whole vertical for skilling, which was actually lost. The highest potential of giving jobs or training people for employability is not with, I don't think, with any other ministry except the Ministry of Skill Development. So, we train people for employability.
Right.
And I think we are doing it beautifully now.
But when the ministry came into being, there was a target which was set by the government saying that about 400 million people will be trained. And what is happening on that target?
I think it was something when this was told by the previous Prime Minister without realizing what he spoke.
Okay.
And he said 400 million people have to be trained. Do you understand what is 400 million people?
That's quite a number.
Not quite a number. It would have been 40 crore people is almost, what numbers are we talking? So he just announced, without realizing that he is talking about 400 million people who work in the unorganized sector.
Okay.
So it was a statement, as an ambitious statement, which they proposed. We are talking about training people, fresh trainees, RPL and all that. The numbers, these were no figures like this. Was an academic discussion which became a figure that we need to do skill training. There were no figures mentioned in the Planning Commission or in any budget. This was a figure which said 400 million people in the unorganized sector, because unorganized sector is the largest contributor to the economy and they need to be trained. So that does not mean the 400 million people have got fresh training.
But how is your ministry channelizing its efforts towards the informal sector? Obviously, because that's the largest chunk which is...
We are doing it in a huge way.
Okay.
You see, through the 40 sector skill councils, entry-level jobs are being created by us. And we are connecting to the entry-level, even the services sector, a beautician, a gardener, a driver, even the cameraman who is behind shooting us now, the photographer, the furnitures and finishings, all what you see around me, the people who run the microphone, the amplifiers, the repairs, the mobile shop repairs, all this is not in a structured corporate employment. These are employments which are there, which is being created with the economy, existing in the economy and being created in the economy. And I think we have a target of training 1 crore people in the next 3 years, and we are moving at a very fast track. Through the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which is a model for short-term training, to the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras, which we are establishing in each and every parliamentary constituency, for people to understand and benchmark what is short-term skills. And it's happening all around us in a huge way. And I think the whole guidance comes from the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi.
In many of your speeches, you have also been talking about the fact of reskilling and upskilling.
That is a very important. This was an idea from the Prime Minister. Can you imagine that in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the cooks, the head chef, the butler, the housekeeper, the gardener, maybe many more people looking after the household, none of them were ever formally certified as if they knew some job. So we had to go to them. The Rashtrapati, the former Rashtrapati, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee invited us. And a training was done to all those people who worked in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, who were the best, but they did not have a formal certification. We did it for them. So the recognition, they are plumbers, they are carpenters, they are embroiders, there are hundreds of other professions and people are there, but they have never been recognized. So the idea was to, in the larger ecosystem, to upskill them, to retrain them, to certify them, to assess them, And this process is also on, because I am in complete disagreement to the figure of 2.5% of the Indian workforce being skilled. The wrong data has been captured, and we are also revising into how we have to define skills for considering what percentage of the people in this country are under skilled category.
Why do you say that this data is wrong of 2.5%?
No one bothered in this country. No one bothered to find out what they are covering and what they are not covering. The cameraman is behind me who is taking these photographs. Is he not skilled? But it does not figure in the list of NSSO. It was only structured, corporate and government structured and engineering colleges which were considered as skilled, rest was none.
So does
even an anchor like you, do you figure in what category of employment? Aren't you a skilled person? So there could be a category for such persons also. The person, your makeup artist, is there no training for a makeup artist in this country? Do you come to a show without a makeup artist? Do you want your audience or anyone who is participating to come without a makeup artist? There are courses for makeup artists.
So which
and
means
these makeup artists are also recognized and certified, but they do not figure in the workforce. So all these are small examples which I am making to you.
So which means that the government is creating newer benchmarks and newer parameters to...
No, things which have not been done earlier, they have been left. No one bothered, no one even wanted to find out, no minister ever took interest. This government is a government where everyone is passionately involved in his job. Even if I have been given skill ministry, I am enjoying working in it. I am creating a benchmark for things. I am pushing things across the country. Don't you hear the buzz of skill today? Can't you see across people getting trained in skill? In 5-star hotels, and young boys and girls in small hotels say, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir, how was your day, sir, how is the family, sir, how was your flight, sir? We are the people who are teaching them that your quality will improve if you have these 50 sentences of English in your grooming. But this country is 1,272 million. To build this up, which should have actually happened in the school education, primary education, no one did it. So we had large number of engineers coming out from the engineering college, 18 lakh engineering seats. 8 lakh seats are vacant, only 10,000 coming out of which only 7% are employable. What is this? What kind of education is this? So, coming out from the stream of education, for the ITIs, who get admitted in ITIs in this country? It was decided in 1956 that all who cannot go to schools after 6th or 8th dropout will go to ITIs. So 8th we admit children for ITIs 2 years and we do not give them a certificate of matriculation and equivalence. 10th it was decided that all those who cannot after 10th get admission in any inter-college will be sent to ITIs or can join ITIs. So for 2 years of their course they are not given an equivalence of +2. First time in independent India, 2.3 million students in the ITIs are being given an equivalence of 10th and 12th. Weren't the policymakers aware of all this? Is it Mr. Modi's government who has to come 68 years down the line to decide all this? So, policy level, large ramifications, quality, output, outcomes, all has become a component of skilling now.
When 2015, when your ministry came into being, there were a lot of the National Skill Development Council and a lot of institutes came up. And many people raised questions on the quality of the product which was coming out. But 3 years or 2 years down the line, has the government been able to create enough checks and balances so that the quality is also maintained?
In and out. There are two verticals in. For short-term skilling, it was a complete riffraff in this country. Unstructured, 23 ministries, 50 odd departments, all on its own style. We have given a structured format of skilling, how to do, common norms, what is the payment which has to be made, how much time duration assessment has to be done. So this has been done in short-term skilling in a huge way. Long-term 2-year course training, industrial training, for the first time across the country, ITIs are being inspected, 13,000 of them. There are institutes which do not have anything have been given recognition. All are being checked. Examinations are being conducted. Online examinations are being done across the country in few states. First time new norms for creation of ITIs which will look like CBSE and ICE schools are being created. But the institutional arrangements will not be visible in a short while. What I have done today or my government or Prime Minister is doing would be completely visible. You have to see the track which we are laying out. The final destination which we will reach, I would not be there to see it, but those who are involved in the sector would call and say that it was Prime Minister Mr. Modi who sent a benchmark for skilling, set a benchmark for technical education, and I am just a part of it.
Skill Ministry definitely has made the right noises as far as employment
Not only
generation.
noises, we are doing good work.
No, as far as the implementation of schemes is concerned, at least that buzz is there that the government is serious about employing people, about skilling people. And but why is it? This seems to be a worry that the placement, the placement percentage still seems to be worryingly low. What is the reason for that?
I don't think it's talking about my sector. You may be talking about IT sector.
Across the sectors.
I cannot match the demand of training which is required today with what is demand for the industry. I cannot train so many people. The entry level jobs, I require 10,000 for the national capital territory of Delhi. I require 10,000 gardeners. I am unable to provide for them. In Ola and Uber, I require 3 lakh drivers. I am unable to provide them. So these drivers are not those types. There are certain qualifications which drivers have. They need to understand GPS, courtesy, clean, grooming, use of point of sale machines for use of credit cards. I can't. Aren't these employments which can be visible? So I think there is a completely error. You talk about government, corporate and organized industries. I am also looking after the unorganized sector. There are millions who want to learn to get themselves. There is a girl who is getting a course of a beautician done and goes back to her village and starts a beauty shop, earns 20,000 rupees a month. Is that not an employment? But the whole categorization of employment in the previous governments was government jobs in which you draw a salary right to the banks. We are creating a huge work, and I think people are so happy at the bottom level. For the first time, people who are not actually identifiable to be job providers and jobs who could be connected to them is happening in this country for the first time.
My final question to you, by 2022, that's the target year which everybody is talking about, the 2022, your ministry, what is the kind of outcome you are looking at in terms of numbers or in terms of, I don't know how you would look at it?
Well, numbers are there. We plan to train about crores, is just my ministry. Then we have the state governments, then we have the various other ministries. So employability with the partnership, employment is there, it's growing, leaps and bounds. It's just for those people who have to understand the whole economy and the process, have to come forward and understand it.
Wish you all the best, Mr. Rudy.
Thank you. Good day.
So that's it on this episode of To The Point. See you next time with another personality. Goodbye and thanks for watching.